Right, guys, Nick here with CPF Boxing, and thanks for tuning in to another video. I'll be doing one or two. This is my first one this week, really. I'll do one or two next week as well. It's just a 20-25 minute sort of catch up what's been happening in the boxing world, news that's been going on. I've watched what I can. I paid attention to what I can in the past week. I started a new job recently, as I keep mentioning, but it was very, very, very busy last week. There was all sorts of things happening, which is good. I like being busy, so I've not had enough chance to do it. I've been coming home and I've just been fucked. You know how it is. But I still love boxing. I'm still interested in boxing. So I've been watching as many YouTube videos as I can from other channels, just sort of absorbing what other people are saying, listening to podcasts where I can. So this is just a video about random boxing news from this week. I'm catching up now. It'll be like a stream of consciousness. So yeah, let's go. So first, I watched the Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr., Conor Benn 2 press conference. I didn't think it'd be that enjoyable, to be honest. I thought they'd sort of blew the wad from the first press conference. I wasn't sure there'd be that much for them to say. I thought maybe Chris Eubank Jr. may be a bit more gracious, and I thought there'd be a different approach to this one, probably in a naive sense, because to build up the fight, someone has to at least play the game and give us something to talk about, which Chris Eubank Jr. did. And he accused Eddie Hearn and Matchroom of stopping him and getting to an ambulance after the fight. So obviously a huge accusation, and Eddie Hearn kept saying, "Oh, can you just state that you're accusing us of doing this?" And Chris Eubank Jr. eventually stood, "So you can sue me," which probably originally was Eddie Hearn's plan. Eddie Hearn said it wasn't so he could sue you, but it probably was. And I think people are talking about suing each other for whatever reason. So it's regarding the rehydration clause. The rehydration clause, to me, he agreed to it as far as I'm aware. He agreed to all of this. So as much as you don't want to see someone injured or hurting to that extent, he did agree to it. So I've got itchy nose for some reason. Not been snorting coke or anything. Can't be hay fever. It's sunny today, but it's been fucking shitty weather for the past few days. Who knows? He agreed to the rehydration clause. He agreed to all of this. So as much as put his body under a complete batter in his kidneys and everything, he did agree to that. He's a professional athlete. It's easy for me to say someone that's never had to make weight, and it sounds atrocious when they do, but he agreed to it. He's playing his little violin. Some people will feel sympathy for him. Like, I feel a bit of sympathy for him, like myself. You never want anyone to be near death in sport. It's a dangerous sport. You never want it to get that far. He criticised the BBC, the British Board of Boxing Control, whatever the fuck called. And he was the Frank Smith guy. I think he's Frank Smith. Or was it the guy from Matchroom? He criticised all the big dogs anyway for finding him. He said, where does the money go? He suggested that the money wasn't going to where it should be. It should be going to like community projects. It should be going back into something positive. He was suggesting it wasn't. Again, that may get him in hot water. Who knows? He was quite entertaining, Chris Eubank Jr. He only stated a couple of times that he won the fight. I thought that'd be his go-to thing every time anyone said anything, he'd go back to I won the fight. He wasn't too bad with that, to be fair. He did. I think he did what he needed to. He kept the interest there. It was funny. His exchange of Eddie Hearn was really funny because they obviously don't like each other. You never know what could happen in the future. I've seen stranger things. Maybe Chris Eubank could end up working with Eddie Hearn. You never know. Look at Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn. They don't like each other, so they were going back and forth. Conor Benn didn't say too much. He didn't say too much at all. He just said, "Chris, shut up." And there was a couple of sort of like, "shut your mouth" and all that. His dad, he was a bit cringe. Again, massive respect for his dad, what a legend, but a bit cringe because his dad was saying, "No, it wasn't the real Conor Benn," and he let his game plan go and all this stuff. And he did, in fact, the game plan he should have fought, which is, again, probably true. It just seemed like, for a start, he should have fought his game plan. And he just said he's not the best Conor Benn. He had to say something, though, didn't he, to be fair? He couldn't just say, he had to say something. He's on a lot of jokes who are cracking to each other. And he's obviously a nice guy, but he's a bit cringy, I don't know. Do I think the outcome for the next fight, if you're asking me now, putting a gun to my head now, I think the exact same outcome for the second fight. I think Chris Eubank Jr. will win again. I think he'd win on points, and I think this time it may be wider of the mark. And again, when they stood next to each other, they did a face-off. Chris Eubank Jr. looks physically bigger, much bigger. The press comments, what else was it to say about that? It was exciting, it was interesting. My mate told me about it. I had no idea it was on, but I tuned in, quite interesting. So looking forward to the fight. I'm looking forward to the fight as much as the first one. No, not really, but is that ever the case where you look forward to the first of two fights more than the second one? Not often. Terence Crawford to the fallout. He was spectacular in his fight against, obviously, Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, I think people have been a bit harsh. He's lost a fight, but people are saying about the empire falling and all that. Terence Crawford, he looked fantastic in his fight. He won very graciously. He just did what he needed to do. He looked fantastic. So there's been some fallout for him. I think he's just vacated a belt. Who will he fight next? I'm sure Chris Eubank Jr. even said he'd fight Terence Crawford at some point. I saw an interview or something saying he'd fight him. It might be a bad idea if they fought now because Terence Crawford's on fire. I'm guessing he's not going to retire, so he's looking at potential opponents next. But yeah, Terence Crawford, second best boxer on the planet behind Usyk. Some people would say first, but I'll say second. It was a really good fight. We went over that slightly in the last video, so I won't spend much time on that. The legacy of Ricky Hatton, more tributes have poured into Ricky Hatton. The Eubank Jr. Conor Benn press conference, actually, Eddie Hearn tried to pay tribute to Ricky Hatton. But Chris Eubank sort of shut him down, but I don't think he did it in a disrespectful way to Ricky Hatton. I think he said afterwards he does respect him, but he didn't want to hear what Eddie Hearn had to say. So he sort of, it wasn't so much disrespecting Ricky Hatton, it was just disrespecting Eddie Hearn. He just happened to be talking about Ricky Hatton. So I don't think people should look too much into that or make too much of it. What else we got? Robert Helenius has retired from pro boxing, so I think he's about 41. He was sort of on the periphery. He was never obviously a top 10 guy, was he? He was known, he was a gatekeeper, if you could say that. Again, respect. He's been around for a few years. He's obviously had a good career. He's 41 now, if I'm correct. He did have a 2-year drug ban, so that will have been the nail in the coffin, really. So he did have a loss. It was Joshua that knocked him out. Then he got banned for 2 years, a drug ban. That finished a lot of people off, really, especially at the end of the career, because when you're younger, it's like half a free career or whatever, you can, still not ideal, but you can have a couple of years off. In his case, probably best to hang it up. And I'm not sure where he was going. If he'd have had another fight or two, who would he have fought? Would it be someone that would we even know if he'd had a fight? Probably not. Yeah, so the Netflix thing with Crawford and Canelo as well, it seems like that's gone very well. Millions of people tuned into it. That's something they'll probably keep doing. Do I mind them doing that? To be honest, no, not all. I enjoy. It was maybe a bit too like schmaltzy and American. Some bits of it. Some of the commentating. Is it Max Kellerman? Not sure. John Anik, who's usually UFC, I thought he did a good job. He probably would have any sport. If he was like covering tenpin bowling or fishing or hot dog eating or something, he'd probably do a pretty good job. I thought it was good. Yeah, if Netflix keep putting shows on them, huge shows, and most of us have Netflix accounts, we can watch it for free, then yeah, I'm definitely over that. And one of the cool things is as well, you can the next day go back and just watch it. You can pick up where you left off. Yeah, I mean, the regulation and safety concerns about hydration, there's always has been and there always will be concerns with, boxing, UFC, whatnot. At the end of the day, I guess these are professional athletes and grown men and adults, and they know what they're getting themselves into. Should we make it safe as possible for them? We should, definitely. But still, as long as people are hitting each other in the head and punching each other, there's going to be a level of danger to it. It's tough to make that safer. And even there was an argument wearing head guards and stuff, it's not really much better. I'm sure I've heard someone, it may be Joe Rogan, again, take from that what you will, saying it's not necessarily better wearing head guards because you're just taking the exact science behind it, I can't remember, but I've been heard people saying that bare knuckle boxing is safer using bare knuckles than it is boxing gloves because of the amount of hits that you take to the head. Something like that. I don't know. I might be talking about it. So what else we got? Actually, how did I forget this? So Joshua referred to Tyson Fury as dippy, and he sort of fired some shots, which is, I think this may be his last chance to get a fight with Tyson Fury. He said he's dippy, and he did show respect to Joseph Parker, as he should. But he also basically said Tyson Fury, he's ducking the fights, he's dippy. He slagged Fury off. Hopefully Fury's seen this. Hopefully it's lit a fire under his ass and they get the fight sorted. We've all forgotten about that fight, but you never know. This could be the last chance. I'm going to just directly call him out, see what he says. You never know. It could still happen. So what else has been happening? Just hang on a few seconds. Yeah, so Helenius, we know he's retired. Okay, there was an event on yesterday, so collect some from Dolores Security victories. Yeah, Terence Crawford officially vacates WA belt, handing the title to Abbas Baru and focusing on 168-pound reign. Probably a good idea. Like I say, he's getting older. He's still amazing. He's still incredible, but rather than spinning too many plates, he probably just wants to focus on one thing, leave a lasting legacy. Danny Beck, still looking for an opponent. I'd like to see him fight again. Obviously, he's amazing. I don't think many people want to fight him. Yeah, there's not too much else, basically. So, Luis Ortiz won. Heavyweight Grandad, criticising his belly. Luis Ortiz. Yeah, there's not tons to talk about. Been watching the Matchroom, the Eddie Hearn documentary. Entertaining. It's pretty good. It's not something I'll watch and thought I'm going to plow through all the episodes. Sometimes you only get into a series. I'm more a movie guy than a series guy. You know, you go through them straight away. I've done that with some series. The Adolescence one is Stephen Graham was really good. We got straight through that. And stuff like Manhunter. There's a true crime documentary called Manhunter that's called about a real life guy from the Homicide Squad in London. But this one was okay. I'll probably finish it, but I'll gradually do it. It's entertaining, but it's not essential TV. If you're a fan of boxing, you will like it. If you are a fan of the Hearns, you'll really like it. If you're not a fan of the Hearns, I don't know if you're going to see too much. I've not seen too much so far that'll make you think, actually, I'm now a huge fan of Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and everything. Essentially, we're more interested in the fighters. These are the promoters. But Eddie Hearn is larger than life. He comes across well in the documentary. It's good. It gives you some behind-the-scenes stuff. So some of the fights like Dubois, Joshua, the build-up to that. It's quite interesting, actually. Yeah, even like stuff that I'm not too bothered, like the darts and snooker. It's quite interesting seeing how they handle the events and who else works from Matchroom. It'd be a pretty cool job what some of them are doing. The Smashing Machine. Okay, movie-wise, let's go on to some movie chat. The Smashing Machine's out soon. That's with The Rock. He plays Matt Kurt, the ex-UFC fighter. I think he had like an addiction to painkillers or something. That sounds really good. If you want general film that's really good, try a horror film called Weapons. And FIFA is out on 26. So I'm going to have to wait till payday to buy it, unfortunately. But it's out on the 26th. I was going to play the demo. There's like a 10-hour demo online, but I'll hang on till the 26th, I think. I'm not really a gamer. FIFA's just the one game I play. I'll play a little bit Crash Bandicoot Racing. My missus knows now, which is fun, but I'm really looking forward to FIFA. Apparently, it's much better. I'm a career mode guy. I love career mode. So I'm looking forward to that. Otherwise, as and when something happens in the next few days, I'll post a boxing video. But I just wanted to do something just to keep some kind of consistency. Hopefully, the quality is reasonable. Like I say, I am just sort of freestyling it. Sunday afternoon, there's other things I've been doing today, but I wanted to make time for this. On the Sunday roast later. Hopefully, everyone has a good day and a good week ahead. I've cleaned the ice bath, so I'm going to jump in that early because it's quite a big day at my job tomorrow, so I want to be there on time and early. Ice bath, have a little bit of slow oats. It's slow oats. They'll be in the fridge overnight and just like do all my little things you do on a Monday morning just to get you through Monday. So hopefully you have a good Monday as well. And we've got some cool stuff coming up. Dave Allen, Aslan Bekmambetov. Well, that's like 3 weeks now. I'm at that. I'm looking forward to that. Arcane have Wardley been announced. That's great. I spoke about it in the last video. Yeah, there's plenty going on. Anyway, peace out. Let you enjoy your day. Thanks for watching. But Incoherent Ramblings. Like I said, there'll be more structure and probably a few more videos once stuff settles down a bit. But I've just been fairly relentlessly busy. But I still love boxing. Comment, like, subscribe. Start a conversation with me. If anyone wants me to come on your video and talk about boxing, I've not done that yet. I've messaged a couple of people. We've not got around to it. If you like this and you do a podcast or something about boxing, please invite me on. I'd love to come on and chat about it. It'd be really cool. It's just fun to chat about, innit? Otherwise, I'll leave you there. Nick with CPF Boxing. Peace out. Thank you.